When I say the name Demi Lovato, what comes to mind? Maybe it's when they starred in the Disney Channel show Sunny with a Chance when they were younger, or maybe it's when they starred in the movie Camp Rock. Maybe it's their successful music career. What probably doesn't come to mind is them promoting an anti-Semitic lizard cult, but unfortunately, that's what we're going to be talking about today. On November 4th of last year, Demi posted, "Thrilled to be a Gaia ambassador. Understanding the world around us, the known and the unknown, is so exciting to me." Now, if you're like I was a few months ago, you might not be aware exactly what Gaia is. Well, Gaia is an online streaming platform that's kind of similar to Netflix that claims to promote conscious media. At first glance, Gaia appears to be a somewhat harmless platform that's focused around yoga videos, videos about alien encounters, and videos promoting New Age spirituality. But after you dig a bit deeper, you realize that this platform is promoting dangerous conspiracy theories that, in my opinion, are blatantly racist and anti-Semitic. So in this video, I hope to prove why I think Gaia is so harmful, and why I think we should hold celebrities accountable when they choose to promote this dangerous streaming platform. Strap in, because this one's gonna get crazy. I first became aware of Gaia a few months back when I stumbled upon this TikTok account called Zohar Stargate. Originally, I just found the account extremely funny because they posted a bunch of TikToks that were batshit insane, like this one.
The reptilians' giant mothership is the moon, and that's where they escaped to during the cataclysms of the Great Flood, which they themselves had caused by manipulating the orbit of the moon and creating other cosmic events. The moon was built to keep an eye on people, and as a vehicle to travel the universe.
So, according to this, the moon is a giant mothership that is being piloted by reptilians. Makes perfect sense. I wish I could just play you this video and we could laugh together about how ridiculous it is and move on with our lives. But unfortunately, whenever someone uses the word reptilian, that's usually a red flag that there's probably some anti-Semitism going on here. When I was younger, I thought that claiming reptiles run society was just a joke that everyone knew was completely ridiculous, but eventually I learned that this conspiracy theory, like a lot of conspiracy theories, is based in anti-Semitism, which didn't make much sense to me because I didn't see any connection between reptiles and Jewish people, but in this video, I hope to prove to you that it absolutely is rooted in anti-Semitism. I wanted to learn more about this Zohar Stargate TikTok account, so I clicked the link in their bio and it brought me to Gaia's website. I'm not exactly sure what the link between Zohar Stargate and Gaia is. I couldn't figure out if Zohar Stargate is owned by Gaia or if they just have some sort of partnership with Gaia that allows them to post clips from Gaia on their TikTok account. But regardless, I wanted to learn more about this mysterious streaming service that was linked to this TikTok account. Gaia is an alternate media video streaming service that was founded by a man named Jirka Raisavi. In addition to the yoga content and the spirituality content I mentioned before, a lot of Gaia's content focuses around various conspiracy theories. Like the theory that Bigfoot is actually real, the theory that Atlantis is actually real, and the theory that there are deep space portals called Stargates that you can use to travel to Mars. I'm assuming that the name of the TikTok account, Zohar Stargate, has something to do with these Stargates. In my opinion, these conspiracy theories are all relatively harmless, so if we want to prove that Gaia is a dangerous platform, then we need to focus on this category on their website titled Cabal. Let me take a second to thank today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Would you ever go out in public without pants on? No? Why not? Because you would be exposed? Well then, why would you surf the internet without a VPN? Whenever you're surfing the internet on an unencrypted network on your phone, tablet, computer, etc., you are sending countless pieces of information that can be intercepted by anyone who wants to view this private information. But ExpressVPN encrypts your data using best-in-class encryption, making it impossible to intercept. Also, did you know that in the US, internet service providers can legally sell your data to ad companies? There have been times where I'll search for something on the internet and then I get ads for that thing I searched for weeks. I absolutely hate that feeling like I'm being spied on when I'm using the internet. That's why I always use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN has the fastest speeds in the business because they only invest in premium servers. And they have been voted the #1 VPN by CNET, The Verge, Mashable, TechRadar, and many more. So find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by going to expressvpn.com/beard or by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks again, ExpressVPN. This category's description reads, "Powerful elites won't disclose strategic deception or historical disinformation when it comes to the New World Order." From the Freemasons to the Illuminati, there are countless conspiracy theories tied to these top secret societies. But what is the truth? A mass consciousness shift looms as we expose shadow governments, mysterious organizations, new age technologies, evidence of UFOs, and cover-ups that will change everything. Explore our collection of Cabal documentaries and join filmmakers as they go down the rabbit hole to get to the real truth. In this category, there are a number of documentaries from various experts in the field of conspiracy theories. One of the main men whose documentaries are being promoted here is a man named David Icke. By claiming that these documentaries expose the real truth, Gaia is endorsing David Icke's beliefs that there's a cabal of evil elites controlling all of us. At the beginning of many of Gaia's documentaries, they claim that the views and opinions expressed by individuals in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the network or its affiliates. But in my opinion, they kind of just put this there in an attempt to cover their ass. Because, like I just said, the description on this Cabal category definitely promotes that these documentaries are true. This isn't like YouTube where anyone can upload anything. These documentaries have been handpicked by Gaia to promote their agenda. So I believe that if we can prove that these documentaries by David Icke are anti-Semitic, this will prove that Gaia as an organization promotes anti-Semitism, which will prove that Demi Lovato chose to promote an anti-Semitic platform. So, who exactly is David Icke? David Icke is a 70-year-old British man who started his career as a soccer player. He then went on to be a sports broadcaster for the BBC before becoming the author and conspiracy theorist he's known as today. David Icke is known as one of the fathers of modern conspiracy theories, and he's one of the main people who popularized the theory that society is being run by reptilians. If we're gonna get to the bottom of whether or not his reptile conspiracy theories are anti-Semitic, we're gonna need to start by explaining his belief system. This is gonna be a lot, but try to follow along. So, David claims that he believes in a religion called Gnosticism, which he says is the true version of Christianity. David believes that mainstream Christianity and Judaism are false religions, and that the followers of these religions are being manipulated by fourth-dimensional beings called archons. The word archon means ruler in Greek, and David claims that the religion of Gnosticism shows us that these archons are the ones behind the forces of evil in the universe. Basically, these archons are evil aliens from another dimension who feed off of negative energy. David claims that humans create positive energy when they're happy, and they create negative energy when they're suffering. And because these archon aliens feed off of negative energy, their goal is to create as much pain and suffering in the world as possible. David claims that the religion of Gnosticism shows that the God of the Bible and the Torah is actually the devil, or more accurately, he's the king of the archons. Basically, he believes that anyone who claims to be a Christian or a Jew is actually a Satanist, because the God that they worship is secretly an evil alien. David believes that in the past, these Archons traveled from the 4th dimension to our planet in the 3rd dimension. Now, the Archons are invisible to the naked eye, but because they wanted to take a physical form on Earth, they decided to mate with humans. And what happens when an Archon mates with a human? It creates a reptilian. So, according to David, the reptilians from these conspiracy theories are half human, half Archon. David claims that the goal of the Archons is world domination, so throughout history they've created Archon bloodlines, which have risen to the top positions of power in many countries. David claims that most US presidents have been reptilians, he claims that the Queen of England was a reptilian, and he claims that most Jewish leaders are reptilians. Like I mentioned, David believes that the Archon's goal is to make humanity suffer because Archons feed off of negative energy. So they get into these top positions of power and then make the world as bad as possible so they can feed off of humans' negative energy. And one way David claims they do this is by eating babies.
And many of them are involved in paedophilia, which, as I've said and explained at greater length in other doc-connecting shows, is connected to this archontic force that has this desire, most of all, to feed off the energy of children before puberty.
This is also known as blood libel, which is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that has been promoted by many Christians against Jewish people since the medieval period. If you've ever heard the QAnon conspiracy theory that Democrats like Hillary Clinton eat babies, this is where that conspiracy theory originated. And David claims that the ultimate goal of the reptilians is to use artificial intelligence to brainwash humanity into connecting all of our brains into a hive mind that is controlled by the Archons. Now, there are many names that David uses to describe this secret society of reptilians that he claims runs the world. The Illuminati, the Babylonian Brotherhood, the New World Order, the Globalists, the Elites, the Sabbatian Cult. All of these terms refer to basically the same thing. The secret society of half-alien, half-human reptilian Archons that David claims runs society. Now, does David have any concrete evidence to support any of these claims? Of course not. This is all absolute nonsense. But unfortunately, naive people who are susceptible to believing things without any real evidence do often fall for these conspiracies. Now, it would be one thing if David Icke was just a kooky conspiracy theorist that we could all laugh at because of how ridiculous his beliefs are, but the thing that makes him so dangerous is the way he spreads anti-Semitism through his conspiracy theories, and the way that neo-Nazis weaponize this anti-Semitism. If you were to ask David Icke if he is anti-Semitic, he would say no, because according to him, not all Jews are reptiles, only most Jewish leaders and certain influential families like the Rothschilds are.
There is this racism kind of label that is thrown at people that highlight this to keep them quiet. If they were Hispanics, if they were African Americans, people would go, hold on, what's going on? But because of that, I'm not supposed to say anything because you're anti-Semitic.
But through my research, I think I can prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that he absolutely is anti-Semitic, and when he claims that he isn't, he is lying. So let's look at all the evidence that David Icke is anti-Semitic. Like I mentioned before, David believes that these Jewish leaders practice blood libel by eating babies, which is a common anti-Semitic trope that has been used against Jewish people since medieval times. Next, David claims that the book The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a fabricated book that claims that Jews are attempting world domination, which was used by Hitler as one of the justifications for the Holocaust, is actually completely accurate. David likes to call this book The Protocols of the Illuminati instead of calling it The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. But just because he calls it by a different name and says that the Elders of Zion are actually reptilians, that does not discount the fact that he believes one of the most influential anti-Semitic texts of all time is actually true. David has claimed that he doesn't think all Jewish people are reptiles, but he does think that Zionists, the Jewish people who claim that the homeland of Israel should be returned to the Jewish people, are reptiles.
Zionism is, in its public expression, a political system with a political agenda. But at its core, it is a secret society.
Now, as a leftist, I do not think that Zionists have a claim to the territory of Palestine, and I'm completely against the way many Zionists treat Palestinians. But there is a massive difference between criticizing the political actions of a group of people and claiming that that group of people are actually evil, satanic, baby-eating reptiles. The most disgusting theory that David has promoted is the idea that Zionist bankers actually funded the Holocaust because helping Hitler kill the Jews would give Zionists justification to declare Israel as their homeland. This has to be one of the stupidest, most disgusting things I've ever heard. 60% of the world's Jewish population was killed in the Holocaust, but you're claiming that these Zionists helped Hitler kill over half of their own people just so they could have a justification to move into Palestine? What the actual fuck? As I mentioned before, David believes that the god Jewish people worship is actually the leader of the Archons, so he believes that the entire Jewish religion is dedicated to worshiping baby-eating pedophile reptiles. I don't know how anyone could possibly argue that that is not anti-Semitic. David would claim that some Christians and people of other religions are also reptilians, so he can't possibly be anti-Semitic, but just because you also slander other religions doesn't make it okay to slander the Jewish religion. And his documentary series called David Icke Dot Connector is absolutely littered with images of Stars of David and mentions of Zionists and the Rothschilds, but he barely mentions Christians at all. So even if David does claim that some Christians and people of other religions are also reptilians, he has a very clear bias specifically against Jewish people. So, let's review. David claims that he is not anti-Semitic, but he does believe that the Jewish religion is actually Satanism and they worship baby-eating pedophile reptiles. He believes that most, if not all, Jewish leaders are baby-eating pedophile reptiles. He believes that the texts Hitler used to justify the Holocaust are actually true, and he believes that Jews purposefully funded the Holocaust. David Icke is very clearly anti-Semitic. Also, if these reptilians are supposedly so powerful, then why has David Icke been allowed to just publicly expose them for years? You would think that these all-powerful, interdimensional, shape-shifting beings would have stopped him by now. You know why David has been allowed to keep spreading these conspiracy theories? Because the reptilians don't exist, so none of them have tried to stop him. People in the alt-right absolutely love David's conspiracy theories, because if you can convince people that Jewish people aren't actually human beings, they're actually evil reptiles, it is much easier to justify acts of violence against them. So even if David doesn't personally believe that he hates every single Jewish person, his conspiracy theories are absolutely being used by neo-Nazis to justify hatred and violence against Jewish people. As we've been seeing recently, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories have been gaining more and more popularity. So I think it's worth talking through how to dismantle these conspiracy theories because, unfortunately, simply deplatforming them isn't making them go away. The most common claim I often see being made is that Jews control the media and the banking system. Now, it is true that there are quite a few Jewish people in these industries, but correlation does not equal causation. Just because a group of people have found success in an industry does not mean they're controlling that industry for nefarious purposes. Almost every industry in the US is primarily run by Christians, and almost every single US president throughout history has been a Christian. Does this somehow prove that there's a cabal of Christians trying to eat babies and control the world through mind control? No, of course not. And one of the main reasons that Jewish people tend to be highly represented in the banking industry is because in the Middle Ages, Christians actually forced Jewish people out of many industries. But because Christians saw money lending as sinful, they didn't want to be moneylenders, which led to Jewish people taking up this profession. And through their success as moneylenders, Jewish people became more and more financially successful over time, which then led to Christians promoting the stereotype that Jews are greedy and money hungry. And these anti-Semitic stereotypes are eventually what led to the Holocaust, and they still contribute to anti-Semitism today. So Christians oppressed Jewish people to the point where they could only find success in banking, but then when they did find success in banking, Christians just used that as a justification to keep oppressing them. People say that the American dream is to start from nothing and then find your way to financial success. But when Jewish people start from nothing and then find success in banking or the media, people hate them and kill them for it. Conspiracy theorists love to say, if you want to know who's really controlling you, it's the people who you're not allowed to criticize. But this is just not true. You can criticize Jewish people as long as your criticisms are based in reality. Ben Shapiro's a Jewish person, and I think he's a fucking idiot. Am I gonna get censored for saying this? No. As I mentioned before, I condemn the acts that many Zionists have taken against Palestinians. And I can say this because this is fair criticism. It is not fair criticism to call them baby-eating reptiles. If you want to criticize a group of people, just criticize them based on reality, you fucking morons! These types of conspiracies can be very tempting to people because it's very natural for humans to want to fight back against what they perceive as authoritarianism. And because the far right realizes this, they have to find scapegoats to prey on people's fears and get them to ignore the real authoritarianism that the far right promotes. As long as they can keep their followers worrying about immigrants, Jewish people, and trans people, they can get them to ignore the actual oppressive systems like the patriarchy, capitalism, and white supremacy. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, conspiracy theories can be very rhetorically effective with people who lack critical thinking skills. And it's very easy to defend conspiracy theories against any sort of criticism. To show you how easy it is to defend conspiracy theories, let's create our own conspiracy. My ancestors were Irish, so let's say that Irish people are secretly naked mole rat aliens from the planet Dildotron who have come to Earth to steal Earth's potatoes. Now, if you say, that's completely ridiculous, I can say, of course you're saying it's ridiculous. You have to silence me because you know I'm speaking the truth. And literally nothing you can say can convince me that my conspiracy theory is false, because trying to convince me that it's false just confirms my confirmation bias that you're trying to silence the truth. And if you try to show me studies and data and evidence that disprove my conspiracy theory, I can just say, well, the people who ran those studies were bought out by the Irish, and all of this evidence has been manipulated. You've been brainwashed by their Irish mind control tricks into thinking that they aren't trying to steal our potatoes. But if you would just wake up and step outside of the matrix, you would see that I'm telling the truth. If you say, this conspiracy theory is really dangerous and I don't think we should be spreading it on social media because it's gonna lead to higher rates of violence against Irish people, I can say, well, of course you think that. Those sneaky naked mole rat Irish people have manipulated the social media companies into taking down the truth. You've probably been paid off by the Irish, or maybe you're secretly Irish yourself and you're just trying to steal my potatoes. You get the idea. No matter how much you try to fight back against conspiracy theories, the people that believe in them will always come up with some justification that you're just trying to silence the truth. This is why I think it's so important to teach children critical, evidence-based thinking from a young age. Just because a conspiracy theory sounds convincing, you shouldn't believe in it unless you have been shown concrete, irrefutable evidence that it is true. Alright, well, we've gotten kind of far away from the reason that you clicked on this video. Demi Lovato promoting a racist lizard cult. In my opinion, because we've proved that David Icke is anti-Semitic and we've proved that Gaia endorses his views, I do think we should hold celebrities like Demi Lovato accountable when they choose to promote this platform. If we're gonna give Demi the benefit of the doubt, maybe they just didn't do their research and they chose to work with Gaia because of their love for the supernatural. Demi actually has a TV show on Peacock called Unidentified with Demi Lovato, where they talk about their supposed extraterrestrial experiences. I personally believe in giving people second chances and allowing them to learn and grow from their mistakes, but if Demi knew that this platform promoted anti-Semitism and still chose to work with them, in my opinion, that's much less forgivable. And to not just focus on Demi, Russell Brand and Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad have also worked with Gaia, and I think they should also be held responsible. Unfortunately, we as progressives are in a tough position where if we try to hold celebrities accountable for promoting anti-Semitism or working with anti-Semites, people say that we're engaging in cancel culture. But if we don't call these people out, it allows anti-Semitism to keep growing, which directly leads to harm against the Jewish community. Personally, I care more about trying to keep marginalized communities safe than I care about people on the internet labeling me a woke SJW or whatever. With the rise of fascism right now happening across the world, we all have to stick together and stand up for each other and not let these hateful, ridiculous beliefs keep spreading. Because, let's be absolutely clear, these reptilian conspiracy theories are absolute fucking nonsense. If you choose to believe that society is being run by interdimensional reptiles, I think you are incredibly stupid, and you need to realize the harm that comes to marginalized communities when you choose to believe in this nonsense. I've honestly been feeling kind of hopeless lately, because people claim that they're trying to find the truth, but then they just believe in hateful nonsense with absolutely no evidence. I definitely have been feeling less safe as a member of the LGBT community because of people just spreading the idea that we're groomers and pedophiles simply for existing. And it's like it's impossible to use logic or reason or science or evidence to convince these people that they're wrong, so it's like, what the fuck do you even do? And then the people on the other side think we're indoctrinated and we don't care about science or evidence. I don't know, I guess all we can do is keep trying to put good information out there and keep standing up for each other. I don't really have any solutions to offer you. Just know that if you've been feeling hopeless lately, I'm right there with you. Just know that if you're Jewish or trans or black or a woman or whatever, I genuinely care about you. I think you deserve to be seen as a human being and treated with dignity. I mean, that's kind of the bare minimum, but that's where we're at right now. So I promise I'll keep fighting for you. I guess that's about it. I'll see you next time.